Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition is The Ninja, brought to us by Sega. While a relatively simplistic action game, it actually hides a few secrets that you'll need to find in order to make it through the entire game. This is one of those games that features one-hit deaths, lots of enemies for you to fight, and even though it's a relatively short game, if you know what you're doing, it can be difficult, of course, to master and be able to get through everything. So here we go with The Ninja for the Sega Master System. When you get to the main title screen, you can either play the game 1 or 2 players, taking turns. Basically, your goal in each of the levels is to get through, defeat all the ninjas, including the boss ninja at the end of the level. But if you want to be able to get through the entire game, you need to find the hidden green scrolls in order to open up the secret passage in level number 9. Once you've found that, you then have to actually do another special task in order to make it to the game's final stage. There are 3 types of scrolls to collect in the game. Red ones, which give us the power of the shuriken to throw through multiple enemies at a time, the blue ones that increase speed, and then the green ones, like the one I just picked up from that hidden ninja rock enemy, in order to find the secret passage. While there's a couple of types of bosses with different weaponry, the main strategy will remain the same. Defeat as many enemies as possible around the boss, so it's mostly just you versus them. And then when they get on screen, you can actually back up. That's something that a lot of people probably don't recognize that you're able to do in the game, but you can actually back away from the boss, get far away from his attack, and then plow many of the shurikens right into him, and once he turns red, you only need a few more hits in order to defeat him. Level number 2 changes things up as you're kind of scrolling upwards diagonally up a mountain while watching out for rocks as they fall down while still dealing with all the ninjas that are going to try to take you out. Thankfully, the shurikens can actually destroy most enemy fire that's going to be coming towards you, which is a key of being able to survive, because even though there's an enemy near you, you can fire in their direction, keep firing shurikens, and be able to take them down by destroying their weapon and then going into them. The boss is the same in level 2 as it was for level 1, but harder because you don't have as much freedom of movement because of the type of level that is. While level 3 looks similar to level 1, it is different and introduces the dog or wolf enemies, and these guys are a pain, so back away like we do for a lot of bosses in order to kind of get a better shot, and then aim up diagonal shots if possible with the shurikens in order to go through multiple of the dogs at once. Introduced here is also the Sickle Weapon, which is a much more powerful weapon because of how much it takes up space on the screen and is easily able to hit you more so than just the enemy's normal attack. The levels that contain the hidden green scrolls are level 1, 4, 6, 8, and then 9 in order to find the last one. If you have all of them by the time you make it to level 9, you can get to the secret passage. If you don't, and then complete level 9, you will have to go back and start the loop of levels all over again until you get back to there after finding all the scrolls. Level number 4 is the second one that does contain a green scroll. It also introduces another enemy in the Kunaichi, which are like the female ninjas. They can do some acrobatic stuff to kind of get away from you, so they're a bit tougher to deal with. After running into the first kind of set of them, you'll come to a series of arches and statues. Take out the enemies and then work your way to the left statue and hit it multiple times with shurikens in order to drop the green scroll. From that point on, just continue the level like normal. Watch out from behind buildings as ninjas will try to sneak attack you by trying to lunge towards you. So kind of have like a big arc all the way to the right side wall to get around that building. The boss is similar to the ones we've been dealing with. The quicker you're able to take him out, the better, and if you need to, back away so that his projectiles are unable to hit you. The next level is one of my least favorites, this one being the log level, because you're on only, unfortunately, one log and you have to take out all the enemies as they're coming towards you. This lessens the amount of enemies that can come towards you, but it can be difficult to sometimes aim up your shots in order to hit the enemy, as well as be able to deflect their fire that may be coming towards you. Most strategy, though, doesn't change here when it comes to this level. You're just kind of waiting for them to come to you, instead of a lot of times where I kind of make sure I'm moving forward so I'm making it to them instead. Eventually, the boss will drop on down, and his strategy is always the same. Thankfully, he kind of goes off screen right away at the beginning, and this will allow us to lay in a bunch of hits before he's able to really do anything to us. Moving on to level 6, this is the next location of one of the green scrolls. The level is relatively open, especially at the beginning of it, but soon you'll come to like some water that you'll have to cross bridges in order to get to the opposite sides of. Do your best to watch out for a lot of these ninjas, and then right here on this tree, walk up to it, and once you do so, the green scroll will drop from the tree onto the left side. So be sure to pick that up and then head back over the bridge and continue through the level. While this game, like I said, is very difficult, that whole strategy of backing up is your best bet in order to start getting better at the game and be able to deliver powerful hits, especially with the shurikens that can go through multiple enemies. You'll be amazed at just how much you're able to devastate the enemies if you're able to get that shuriken and keep it and be able to take out enemies with it while slowly backing away from their projectiles. Level number 7 is a very interesting one. It is basically a stampede of horses. It's another one of those auto-scrolling style of levels, and you have to dodge in and out of the horses while taking out enemies. There is a new enemy here that will be a bit annoying with the flamethrower, but because of how close they have to be to you with that flame, it's pretty easy to be able to hit them from a distance and to be able to just keep avoiding the horses. Thankfully, the pattern of the horses is very easy, because there's only 3 possible locations horses can come from during this, but it's still a bit of a challenge to kind of get your maneuverability around. Not far into the level, though, you will battle the boss like normal, and move on to Step 8, or Level 8. Next up is another one of the green scrolls, but it's near the boss. One thing that I don't do a whole lot, but is recommended, especially when you're first playing, is you actually can disappear for a short period of time in order to dodge enemy attacks. If you time the disappearance correctly, you can avoid a large amount of attacks, but it also allows enemies to kind of swarm you a little bit. Also, here are the other samurai-like ninjas that will kind of charge towards you, and they move pretty quickly, but you still should have ample time before they're able to get close enough in order to deliver a hit with your weapon. When you make it here, you want to go inside, watch out for the ninja rocks basically waiting for you, and then work your way up. By the tree at the very top, stand in front of it like we did to the tree in the previous level that we got a green scroll from, and boom, another green scroll, and now we have only one more left in order to make it through the secret passage and make it to the second half of the game. When you make it to the boss, you have a whole bunch of the samurai that will charge you. Make sure that you back away enough so that you'll be able to avoid their sword attacks, and then finish off the boss. Level number 9 has us climbing up a very large wall. Because of this, you can actually just kind of really wing it and run really quickly if you want to up the wall. It may be a little bit intimidating to do so, but if you get that sweet spot, you can actually really kind of charge up the wall really quickly and get to the top. Once you're here, go to the right side, which is where the scroll will spawn. Grabbing it will instantly take you to the hidden passage. Once you find the hidden passage, you're moving on to the next part of the game, and you find out what was on the scroll, which is the hint to find the last level. Now, if you don't go to the secret passage in this part of the game and get to the last level, you instead do a couple of other levels and then come back to this one. So I'm going to go through, play those levels, and then when we come back, then I will show where that location of the final stage is, and then finish up the game that way. These enemies move really fast, so be on your toes and ready to attack them as they're kind of swarming in on you. That's why you always kind of want to take out everything as you're going a lot of times in levels, because if you try to back up a little bit and there's a couple guys behind you, you may end up getting hit by them as you're trying to avoid the quick-moving guys in front of you. When you make it up here to where this series of trees are, you're going to be attacked by a few more ninjas, and then eventually the boss will show up, who is a gun-toting boss. He's similar to the other guy as far as like movement, speed, and everything else that we're going to use strategy-wise, of backing away from him and trying to deliver hits. Thankfully, the shurikens are very useful against him as we are attacking him. As soon as you make it to the next level, you are immediately swarmed by a whole bunch of the samurai-like guys. So hopefully you have the shuriken with you, because it's almost essential if you're going to be able to survive this level. It's a very short stage, though, as you destroy those samurai and then immediately are attacked by another one of the gun guys, and then take him out. The next level is more pretty much of the same, where you're immediately swarmed by a lot of really fast-moving samurai. It's a very straightforward moving level as you're ganged up on by these guys, and once you make it to the top, you'll have another one of the gun guys to battle. He moves pretty quickly, though, compared to some of the other ones, so I highly suggest backing far away from him and then attacking straight up at him in order to defeat him. Now, at this point, this is when we're sent back, because we didn't find the passage to that final level. So, you get to see the scroll again, and it tells you basically the same thing that it just did before, where you have to go to the right side of the courtyard, find the stone lantern, and all this stuff. But I'll now show you guys how to do it, which is really quick and easy, because if you run straight, just run straight forward, don't fight any of the enemies, just keep moving forward, the enemy projectiles are unable to hit you. And as long as you have some upgrades to your speed, you should be able to make it up here to where the stone lantern things are. And what you have to do is attack it from the left side, then disappear 3 times, in which case you will find the secret entrance. Also, if you do what I did, you'll end up with a lot of points as a bonus for completing the level. It will scroll through these points for a long time. I'll go ahead and skip ahead so we can get to that final level. But you can see just how many points I ended up getting for just kind of charging through the level and getting to the secret exit as quick as I did. The final level does have a few maze-like elements to it, but it's nothing that's going to get you completely permanently stuck or anything. The fire-spewing guys from earlier on in the game do return, though they do move really fast through this section. Follow the path I do by first going up the left wall, then going all the way to the right side. A lot of enemies will end up getting stuck because of the logs that are kind of setting up the pathways. When you make it to the very top, though, take out all the enemies first, and then one of those gun-toting guys will come down, back away from them, and keep delivering hits. And there you go. You can sit back and enjoy the brief ending to Ninja on the Master System. So there you have it, The Ninja, one of the simplest named games on the Master System as far as its library is concerned, but one that I've had a bit of fun from time to time going through. Pretty challenging, and a relatively obscure, I think, game as far as the Master System is concerned. But either way, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode of Play It Through. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a thumbs up or commenting down below. If you want to see another great Play It Through, be sure to check out my Gargoyles Quest Play It Through I recently did for the Game Boy. Or if you want something a little bit different, I just started a new series called Thrift Store Gamer, where I'm going to be reviewing games I found obviously at thrift stores, flea markets, and the like. It's a lot more editing, a lot more shooting, and stuff like that. A bigger project, definitely, and I worked really hard on the first video, as you can see. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. Also, of course, I need to thank all the members of my Patreon. Without your guys' continued support, honestly, I really can't do what I'm doing. So thank you all so much for all that love and all that support. And thank you guys for watching this video. And of course, I hope you enjoyed.